We would be honored if you would join us.
The dark side of the Force is a pathway to many abilities some consider to be unnatural.
Risa back! Welcome back to another episode of the Sithcast podcast, a Star Wars podcast where we talk a lot about Jar Jar and how amazing he is, as you can tell, and everything.
Alrighty, see you later.
Where'd you get that?
Dude, Disneyland.
Holy shit.
Dude, I saw it and I said I had to have it. Like I had
They're really making a lot of Jar Jar stuff now, huh?
I'm
they're really going for it.
surprised. I mean,
That's
look
cool.
at this thing. I mean,
That's awesome. That is awesome.
I think just reeks like, oh my gosh! Like if I were to go out in the street right now, I think I will be just mobbed by a lot of women. You know,
It's even like a flat cap. It's like kind of perfect, dude.
Oh yeah, dude. That's a panty dropper right there, dude.
The thing is, it actually works really well with your skin color.
oh my
Same.
god! Yes. Yes, actually, I think it might be the lighting and my skin color at the same time. So it's like almost like I'm forming, like becoming Jar Jar, wearing this hat.
Right now, you're P Jar Jar.
P Jar Jar, Jar Jar PP.
PJ, is that a trucker hat? Is it like a trucker hat with other stuff on it? Is that what's?
Like,
oh yeah.
it's like,
Okay.
It's got the ears,
Okay,
got
nice.
the
That's
tongue.
cool. That's interesting.
So I didn't know about this hat. I know Jason from Spice Runners sent me this. He's like, dude, we got to get this. I'm like, oh, that's awesome. Then I went to Disneyland 2 weeks ago and I started seeing quite a few people wearing this hat. And I was like,
You just felt at home.
oh, I just like, you know what? I'm going to get it. Still expensive. I mean, it was like $30, but I was just like,
Everything's expensive in Disney.
Yeah, no, it's like in the same ilk as that Donald Duck hat I bought years ago. You know, the Donald Duck bill and everything.
Yeah.
Oh,
very
wow.
much
You
in
just-
that.
You
Very
just
much
brought
in
me
that ilk.
back, man.
Yeah,
I remember
yeah.
having a hat like that maybe back in the late 70s or something.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. No, they still sell them today, I think. But,
Wow.
Oh, really? Oh, wow.
Crazy.
Yeah, but I'm just really surprised that, Jar Jar is like a thing right now, like everywhere. Did you see the Enzo rings? Like
Regal Robot making them. Like, there's
Yeah.
a lot going on.
Yeah, but did you see like the Enzo like rings, like where you could wear, like it's like wedding band rings, and then you could actually.
They have Jar Jar ones.
Yes. I mean,
That's a
nothing
commitment.
speaks like I mean, you have to be. I mean, can you imagine like proposing to your future fiance, wife, and just
No.
giving her a jar?
Nope.
No,
can't do it.
not- I mean, that's an instant yes, right?
To
divorce.
Shisa say yes. I don't know, dude.
Yeah. But yeah. So yeah, Jar Jar everything. My next character that I'm hoping gets some love, and Matt, I thank you for this because I use this line all the time, or the slogan, the Yaddle saddle.
Yeah.
Oh my
Yaddle.
gosh! I remember like we were just
Little
talking
horse
about.
choking. Yeah, the whole thing.
Yaddle, man. She's what a strange character.
I love you some Yaddle, man. Yaddle's great.
Well, yeah,
Crazy.
she's amazing in the Tales of the Jedi, but I just don't understand like how she looked in the prequels. I mean,
Yeah.
Wow.
That's a puppet, man. You know, there was.
Oh, yeah.
That movie was not as digital as people have always given it shit for being.
no, but it was great, like seeing digital. But Yoda looked great, but Yaddle looked like she was on a lot of like meth.
Well, a lot of people didn't like
Yeah.
the original Yoda puppet from the Phantom Menace when it was first theatrical.
Yeah.
He was a
I
puppet. And
remember
then
that.
they digitized him
And
on
they
a
turned
later,
it into digital.
and they digitalized him in a later DVD release of Phantom Menace. But yeah, originally he was a puppet too.
Can you
Oh, yeah,
imagine if it was on if that was on HBO
Mhm.
and they had those two puppets, they would have had them just HBO, man.
Oh,
would've had
just
to
like go
got
at
him
it.
going at it, yeah.
And
Oh, yeah.
Grogu is born.
Yeah, dude.
But
Like I said, a lot of force choking going on.
oh my goodness. Oh.
They don't even touch each other. Holy shit.
Oh, good Lord. Where is this stream going already? But yeah, thanks to Matt. He created that slogan, the Yaddle saddle. You know,
That's
so yeah, that was a good one. So I've been using that ever
Dude,
since.
has there ever been a collectible at all of anything made with Yaddle in it? Like, have they made a Yaddle?
Well, it's 3.75 inch.
Is there like a small figure of her?
Yeah, I have one. I have
Okay.
her.
Oh, you do?
I have the
Wow.
I have the complete Jedi Council scene from the prequels in
Yeah.
3.75 inch, and there was a Yaddle. Yeah,
That doesn't actually surprise me because they made kind of everything. But like,
they made everything. Yeah, they made everything.
they haven't made anything. Like, there's nothing been made of her.
No, there's
since
nothing.
then,
There's
right?
nothing like premium of her.
Yeah,
No.
yeah.
No.
I mean, why would there be? I guess.
To scare young children, that would be about it.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, but again, just want to introduce everyone. We have some returning guests, some amazing guests. I had them on, a while back, and I'm so happy that they're back on the show. We got Nick Knack from Nick Knack's Plastic Planet. Glad to have you back on the show,
thanks
man.
for having me. Always fun to come on when we can get together.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry for harassing you like almost like every other week.
No,
but
it's all
man,
good, man, dude. You gotta keep poking the bear, man. Eventually, I'll come around. But yeah,
Yeah.
no, just like we were talking off before the stream. Life's crazy. Just a lot of things going on. I'm having a hard time keeping my own channel up these days. But yeah, no. It's
Oh well,
fun,
you and me both. It's
fun
hard.
to be here, man. It's fun to be here.
It's hard, and yeah, we'll talk
Yeah.
about a little about like doing some of the YouTube stuff a little bit later. But we have Matt, one of the OGs from Rogue 16. Matt,
Yeah.
glad to have you back on the show, man. So happy to
No, happy to be here. I'm glad it worked out.
Yeah.
It's always
but-
it's just tough. It's tough these days to find time to
Do anything.
Anything.
do anything. Yeah, it's tough.
It's crazy because I look at I look back at some of the old videos, especially when we were like into Hot Toys,
Mhm.
and now it's just like, wow! It's obviously our collections have changed.
Yeah.
And not only that, just being on air, like doing anything YouTube is so hard now.
Well, COVID made a lot of things happen. Made it so where you could just be on for hours, and it just didn't matter, right? No one gave a shit. And people wanted to see it, right? People wanted to see they would watch stuff like that. But now it's just everything's so busy and kids and all this stuff. It's just hard to find that time.
Yeah, same. I think I was talking to Nick Knack and Scott off air about like my oldest one going to college.
That's crazy.
So yeah, so I will be starting my Feed Finder account pretty soon. So if anybody likes really hairy toes, some ingrown toenails,
what you got to do.
I'll give you guys a link to that.
What college?
He's going to Rutgers.
Oh,
in the
killer.
States. Yeah, so
Great.
he was thinking about
Great
going
college.
actually out to California to like UCLA, but it was just
That's a long way from you guys. though.
no, yeah, it's a long way. Plus, there's a lot of money.
Yeah,
So,
that's true.
we got Scott Berry from Spice Runners Lounge back on the show. Scott,
Thank you.
So happy to have you back on the show again.
Yeah,
Been a while
absolutely
as well.
happy to be here. Yeah,
Yeah.
It's always good. Always a good time.
Always
So,
a good.
I'm in
yeah,
for
always
good
a great
times. But
time.
just like with what Matt was saying, it's like trying to find time to do things. It's like I basically just barely finished work when I came in. You know,
same.
Yeah, it's tough.
it's just there's a lot going on, and I do some other stuff that takes me till 8:00 at night for work, 7 times a month. So that adds to everything.
Yeah.
Hey, you get something like this, you get that break, you get that escape from reality of work.
Oh yeah.
It's always great. So
Yeah.
For me, this is just kind of hanging out with good friends and just talking Star Wars. That's what this channel is basically about. It's just like an outlet. Like I just can't I don't know. I just can't find friends around in the state to talk Star Wars to. So
Yeah.
and it's crazy. A lot of us are all from different states here, so which is pretty cool.
Wow.
Well, 2 of you guys are in the same state, but
Yeah.
But the most
Yeah,
part,
but
yeah.
I was gonna say I'm also extremely fortunate that my wife is a huge collector.
Oh yeah,
So-
she's also doing
Yeah,
amazing.
so
She-
Star Wars, but then she goes over to the Bat side a little bit, and she goes over to the Marvel side. So there's a mixture of stuff, but at least my whole house is mostly Star Wars.
Scott, is that a nightmare for your budget? Like, are you guys just constantly both wanting to get collectibles all the time? Like, how do you deal with that?
Well, instead of it being like just one's income for certain things, we can decide on something that we both want.
Yeah.
So that helps, but yeah, there are enough things that I want and enough things that she
sure.
wants, but she's more like, she'll be more low budget with a lot of things where I'm like, no, it's got to be a hot toy and a
Right.
freaking, RS helmet and
Right.
So
You know what the problem is with that low budget stuff though, is that stuff can get crazy. I mean, if
it adds up.
if you're going Pops, or if you're going like what's the Marvel figures, or the
Marvel Legends, or
the
something?
Legends, like that kind of stuff. That stuff, they make so
Gotta
many
take
of
a
those
bath.
things. That stuff can get crazy.
She's not at a point where she's got to collect everything. She's heavier more on Batman.
Yeah,
As far as having multiple of the same thing.
like
But if-
statues.
No, well, it'd be anywhere between some of the figures, the cheap figures that are out there, which aren't so cheap anymore, up to, like $150, whatever, 6-scale McFarlane, something or other,
sure.
So, and it varies. Some things she'll get for $30, $40, and other things, no, it's in that $150 price range. But
So she hasn't gotten into statues or anything yet.
not heavily, no, not big ones. We don't even have a place to put stuff like that.
They make so many Batman statues. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, you have so many choices when it
She
comes to
did
Batman.
get the NECA quarter scale
Yeah.
ones. Those are about $150 a piece, but she's got the Adam West and the
That's cool.
Burt Ward, which is killer to see because for me, before Star Wars, I thought I was Batman.
Yeah, sure.
I get home, I was 5 years old. I broke this arm twice going off of a balcony back in Maryland, playing Batman with a friend, and both times he untied the hose and I went snap every single time. Yeah.
Sheesh. Ouch.
So yeah, that was my Batman, and then Star Wars hit, and it was like no Star Wars.
Once you
or no
realize
Batman,
Batman's
Star Wars.
superpowers is money, then you're like,
Yes.
oh, that's right.
Yeah,
That's the
true, though.
superpower I want.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I want that secret power for
Once you
sure.
Figure that out.
I just wouldn't be fighting crime. I would just be collecting a lot of like Jar Binks stuff. But
But for the most part, it's good because I don't have to worry about you keep that in your room. I don't want to see any.
Sure,
of that
yeah,
stuff.
it's
It's nothing
wherever.
like that. It just kind of rolls
Yeah.
out.
it's almost like, oh wow, you got the new things, and then next you know it's in her collection. You're like,
You know
oh.
what? This happens all the time. Whenever we get a package from Joel, if I order something from Joel, because Joel does custom 1/6 scales, and he has a lot of vintage stuff that he'll be like, hey man, sell it cheap or whatever. Whenever a Joel package comes in, she always takes it. Or even a Spice Runners thing, like Eben sent out a bunch of Spice Runners glasses. I lost every single one because she grabs those and she's like, these are mine, and takes off with it, and I lose it. But that's, at least it's in the house, right?
Well, it's a good problem to have.
Yeah. It's not a bad one.
That's not a bad one. Yeah, so I just want to give everyone some information on everyone's channel on the panel here. Please, guys, check out Nick Knack's Plastic Planet. You can check him out on YouTube. He does amazing work. Very underrated channel. I've been saying that for many, many years.
Thanks, BJ.
I think you were also voted one of the best toy channels as well, right? In like
Oh yeah, from
it was a article.
Yeah,
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, it was. I forget the sponsor now, but yeah, I've been putting them up. But yeah, I was voted one of the 40 top best action figure channels by.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so that's kind of
awesome,
cool,
man.
It's kind of cool. So
Yeah. So please check out Nick Knack's Plastic Planet. Also, Matt from Rogue 16 does amazing work over there.
Every now and then.
Does a lot of live streams, a lot of cool things. So CC, who we had on the show about a month ago, talks. I mean, she is like, anytime when it comes to art prints, like she like keeps me informed, which is great. Thank God, because I'll be missing out on a lot of art prints. So.
She's great. She knows her stuff on that.
Oh yeah, she's very informed.
And she's the one. She's honestly the one that keeps our small Facebook group and all that stuff going. She's great at that. So
Yeah.
I credit her a lot for that stuff.
It's also been great to see you guys starting to stream a little bit more.
Yeah.
Again.
Yeah, it's been a minute, and there's been a couple people doing other things, and so we're just trying to keep doing stuff, you know, like, and we've kind of gotten to the point now where I think with COVID, I think we all were kind of in this bubble, the Star Wars bubble that, you know, everything was Star Wars, everything all the time, you know, Star Wars. Once I was able to step away and kind of get myself out of that for a minute, it was nice because it felt like, okay, I don't have to do this all the time. Like we can just do this for fun and enjoy it. And I can look at other stuff that's, you know, I don't have to always have to have my head in Star Wars, right? I can look at some other things and enjoy it. And it's, it's just been really kind of liberating. It's been nice. So
good. Yeah. And it's good too, because sometimes like when you're just, especially now, like was it when we first started collecting like Hot Toys and things like that, there was not a lot of Star Wars. There was a lot of Marvel.
There's a lot now.
Yeah, now that Star Wars is very, you know, prevalent right now. So
yeah, I honestly I'd be worried if I was just getting into this stuff and like just starting to get into stuff like this, it'd be really bad because you know, all the hot toys they're coming out with. Yeah, just all the hot toys, all the statue, like everything that's starting to come out. Sideshow's now doing a whole new line of statues. Like it's crazy. Not to mention all the stuff you could try to go back and get. You know, you'd have all kinds of stuff to get. It's what a nightmare. You know, now I'm just happy where I'm at. You know, I've kind of sold some things here and there. I've kind of culled my collection down to where I kind of am a lot more happy. And and just picking up a couple random things. Like I love Masters of the Universe. So,
really?
You know, yeah, I'm a huge fan of Masters of the Universe. So like I'm gonna try to get I'm gonna get that He-Man on Battle Cat statue that looks just absolutely killer from Sideshow. It's a Tweeterhead, I think. Tweeterhead statue. So there's a couple things like that I want to get just to get a couple different things. You know, I got a Dune statue recently that's fantastic.
Oh, the Paul Atreides.
It's so good.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah. Dune 2. Yeah.
Oh, Dune 2 is amazing. I absolutely loved it.
Definitely recommend. I know it's not Star Wars, but definitely recommend it to a lot of people, just because I know a lot of people were saying that the first one was kind of they're not sure.
Oh, I love
but it's just like A New Hope. Like A New Hope was, I mean, it was kind of like, I wouldn't say boring, but if you're not a Star Wars fan, it was like But then Empire Strikes Back, when it starts kind of putting things together, that's how Dune 2 is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it made Dune 1 better.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I like Dune 1 already, but you know, it did make it better. So
I'm waiting to see Dune 2 because it's just started streaming on HBO. So now I can finally watch
it. Yeah. Dude,
you have to.
Fantastic. You'll love it.
Its cinematography is amazing.
That and HBO, well, Max, whatever they're called now.
Yeah,
they're making, I don't know if you saw, but they're making a Dune TV show.
Series, yeah.
Wow.
Off of some of that. It looks like Game of Thrones level. It looks really good.
Oh,
so,
wow.
Yeah, should be pretty cool.
Okay, awesome. So, guys, please check out Rogue One 6. I guess you stream randomly at this point, or okay.
Yeah, we try to do 2 or 3 streams a month when we can. You know, it's just when we can. So,
all right.
So subscribe is what he's saying. Otherwise, you'll miss out.
Yeah, yeah. If you want to hit the bell notification, you will hardly be notified. So, like, you know, it's whatever you want to do.
It's like, wow.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Please also check out Scott Barry from Spice Runners Lounge. They stream every Friday night, 9 p.m. Eastern time. So, they do amazing work. It's a lot of fun, a lot of drinking.
I don't drink. I drink energy drinks. So at the beginning of the show, I'm a little tired, and then by the middle, I'm up like this, and then I'm back down. Yeah,
that's a good thing.
Yeah. So I'm gonna put all their channels in the chat as well. So give them some loves and some support. All right. So let's just get into it, guys. Like, how's your collecting been going? We'll start with Knick-Knack, man. Like, how's your collecting journey so far up to this point? Have you been picking up anything cool recently that you picked up or looking to pick up?
It's always steady, man. Let's see. I just I'm still buying hot toys. I don't know about you guys. I'm not so much a statue guy. I'm an action figure guy at heart. So yeah, I did recently I procured, and I need to probably do a video on it. I got the Kenobi Vader Hot Toys, which is phenomenal. Great piece.
Yeah, that
great,
was
great freaking piece. Yeah, and I picked up. I wasn't planning on buying it, but I was in one of my collector stores here locally. And Bad Habit Collectibles, just give them a shout out. They're great guys here in Denver, Colorado. But I was in Bad Habit Collectibles the other day, and I picked up the Super Battle Droid just as a freaking impulse buy. When you're impulse buying Hot Toys, that's never a good thing, especially when you're like having the same month you just bought your kid a car and your wife's 50th birthday and and Mother's Day and all that shit. So that wasn't real smart of me, but it was fun. How was
that? How was the quality on that? The Super Battle Droid, is it
it's
like
very plasticky. It's very plasticky. It's not.
Mm-hmm.
There's not a lot of die. I don't think there's any die cast in it, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
But it's nice. It's still a nice figure.
Yeah.
I don't know if die cast is a killer for me or not. I enjoy it, but it's.
Is there no die cast even in the legs? You know how they do
I don't think
sometimes.
So. I don't think. Yeah, like the 3PO and stuff. It's like plastic. I like it. I do like a nice plastic die-cast hybrid kind of thing. Right. Like behind me, you guys are going to see that Starship Enterprise. That's the Tomy Starship Enterprise. That thing is 100% die-cast metal right behind me.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah, that thing is 100% die-cast metal, and it's like it scares me how heavy it is.
Yeah, it's got to
be.
Like,
I would actually rather like the saucer section be plastic and the drive section be die-cast, and then the nacelles be plastic, because all that die-cast is like, I'm afraid it's going to... So that I think you could go overboard with the die-cast, but it is nice to have a little die-cast with the plastic, because it does give more of a quality feel, I think. Yeah. But no, to answer your question, long story short, the Super Battle Droid is plastic.
Yeah, because they did that. They did with what, K2SO, right? They did the legs and the joints.
Yeah, K2SO has a lot die-cast in it.
Die-cast, but everything else is plastic. It looks.
Yeah,
I like it when they do that.
It's nice. So does I just recently got the Return of the Jedi C-3PO.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
metal. Yeah,
that's a freaking great.
Is it full die-cast?
It's very die-cast. There is.
It's not full, but it's you pick them up and you can feel it, and you're like, oh, but it's not like scary like what Ryan's saying. It's not that scary. But it feels substantial.
He's heavy. I mean, if he took a shelf dive, you'd have some problems.
Didn't someone else make a C-3PO a while ago that was full die-cast?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was Tamashi.
Yeah,
Tamashi.
I used to have that. It was so nice because the whole thing was like, it was super heavy too.
Those things are going for like $900 over $1,000 now.
Even with the return, with the Hot Toys version out.
I don't know, but I mean that's the last time I saw him, because it's still a very sought after piece.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's great too, Nick Nack. You're still collecting Hot Toys. I am kind of dabbling here and there with it. I don't know what I'm doing. I just feel like I'm gonna get it. I'll open it up. I'm like, cool and awesome, and then put it back, because I'm mostly like statues now.
Yeah.
I picked up that Artisan Luke Skywalker Dark Empire, so I was lucky enough to get that one.
Yeah. I went with I was so stoked about that release. I'm glad you brought it up. I actually went with the regular version though, just because the hair just scares the shit out of me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't want to comb his hair, man. It's not. It's not a Brooke Shields doll for me. You know what I mean?
You don't want anybody ever seeing you gone.
Yeah, it's just no, man. It's just there's something real emasculating about combing Chewbacca's hair, man. I just don't know.
Yeah.
See,
but yeah,
PJ, I don't know how you feel. Because I collect statues as well. Not like I don't buy a ton of them necessarily, but I got to the point where I was like, I'm having a hard time displaying Hot Toys with statues.
Yeah.
Like, one didn't feel like the other, and they're both very good products. Very good. Like, both are really cool looking.
Yeah.
I just kind of started to feel like, well, what do I do here? Do I just have a shelf like that's just Hot Toy? I just didn't feel like they looked good together anymore, and so I kind of was like, well, what do I do?
Well, here's the thing too. Like, Matt, I was really into it just because it was easier to collect back in the day. They weren't pumping out everything like they are now. Like, I mean, I would have never thought they would go Legends and go Dark Empire Luke.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I picked up the Artisan edition of it just because if anyone's out there that wants to trade their Artisan Anakin Skywalker for my Luke, let me know. That's the only reason why I picked up Luke. I mean, I would have picked up the sculpted hair version just because it's cooler. I think I'm with you, Nick Knack.
Yeah.
I just picked up the Artisan because I never win anything, and
Sure.
I was lucky enough to get in that queue, and had a good number in the queue. So
Oh yeah, I was pissed about that 000 thing, man. I
000. What
I wanted to get that shit, dude. And I was
me
like,
too.
I think I'm
Me
like
too.
I think I'm like 900 on the fucking wait list.
I
Well,
hate
he'll
that
be-
they
he'll be
do
there
that.
every day now,
I hate
I'm
that.
sure, but
Yeah.
I think what they're doing now with the and Mondo does this too with their He-Man releases, is the timed release. So they give you like 3 weeks to sit on it and squat on it and decide if you want to buy it or not. I think that's kind of the way to go, because I
Yes.
think the company's getting kind of burned with these, with overproducing this shit. And so to their dime, I get it. And it's kind of nice, because then if you want the figure, you can get the figure.
Yeah, or give it a time window, not necessarily 3 weeks, but even a full day, like 9 to 5 or 9 to 9 or something like that, and basically allow enough people to go ahead and order it, and that's it, and then the sale stops.
Yeah, and if you miss out, you miss out.
You miss out. Yeah, versus trying to fight with a random lottery, which is almost what it is.
Yeah, no, I agree.
And at the same time, still becomes a collectible, because if you think about it, look at the HasLab projects. All of them are timed. Once it's done, instantly, as soon as it hits midnight, that thing goes on eBay for like twice as much as you paid for.
Don't like scalpers either, but
I know, but I'm just saying in general, if people were like looking for the collectability of it and the rarity of it,
they're just creating demand, though.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really what they want, right? They just want more people to be more terrified of not being able to get the next
FOMO.
thing.
Oh yeah,
and then you jump all. Yeah, it's
for business it makes total sense. I mean, come on, how else do you get 20 grand like that unless you do something? It absolutely makes total sense. But it's just, I don't know. I think a window would be better to do. You still get your money. You don't piss off as many people, and people that really want it can get it. Instead of the scalpers that go out. Because the reason why, when it's limited like that, that's when the scalpers come flying out. And they try to grab 10 and this, that, and the other thing, because they know they're going to sell it for triple the amount that they paid for it. And I just think, I'm just against that. Making a profit off of buying something and then selling it later, absolutely. You're entitled to that and should do that if you feel. And hopefully it's a fair thing. But just to buy it, to flip it for 3 times the cost, no, I'm against that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I was gonna say too, and with the Hot Toys, and that's why I scale back a lot, just because I'm like a completionist, so it's so hard to. When I'm just looking at all these releases, I mean, last week we got like a ton. I mean, Matt, you and I and Nick Knack, we've been collecting for quite some time now. I mean, we would be lucky if we got one Star Wars Hot Toy release in 3 months. Now we're getting 3 in like 1 week.
Well, you remember, PJ, we did the show. We did the Rogue One 6th show.
6th,
a while ago, and we would struggle for content.
Oh yeah,
we just have to like talk about random stuff, because there wasn't enough Star Wars stuff that came out,
or even older releases. We're like, okay, we're talking about Princess Leia.
Yeah. It's crazy now. They come out with stuff all the time. Not to mention, Sideshow's refreshing their statues. There's just a lot. There's just a lot.
I mean, it's good for collectors because there's a lot of options now, but it's really hard just to keep up with the Joneses. I think you just gotta have to pick and choose what fits in your collection at this point and what makes you happy.
Well, we've also seen it before. Everybody's fighting for your dollar. I mean, every company that's out there is fighting for your dollar.
Mm-hmm.
So they're just trying to be more creative in the ways that they're doing it and coming up with the product and trying to do it. Because, even just trying, like if you were a diehard Star Wars, you have to have everything Star Wars from Hot Toys, you'd be screwed right now.
Mm-hmm.
You couldn't keep up. It's just not possible.
Yeah. Well, and God forbid you collect multiple of anything, lines of anything. Right. I mean, that's, if you collect... I mean, like you guys, Scott, you have to be very selective, I'm sure, because, if there's Batman and Star Wars things happening at the same time, you got to be really careful, right? Like,
it's not so bad, but yeah.
But you know what I'm saying? Like that
absolutely.
That can really be a crazy thing too. Like if you go Marvel and Star Wars, it can get nuts. So you have to be really selective. But
I'm just lucky on her end that, I mean, just like with anything else, and everybody out there, you buy whatever you want. You collect whatever you want. It doesn't matter if you have such and such name drop piece or anything like that, unless that's the most important thing to you, but it shouldn't be. Yeah. You should buy things because you like them. But like with Janine, a lot of the stuff that she has, I mean, she just got, I think, the Joker Mobile. That was, I don't know, $30, $40 or something like that. That's more
that's not bad.
Yeah, that's kind of like more her price range with a lot of things. It's whereas I will hold out because I want to buy a $300 hot toy or whatever it is. You know what I mean? So she may buy more a little. I'll wait, boom, there's a purchase, there's a purchase. But no, it's not. It hasn't been that bad. Thank God she's not like that. I'm the one that wants the certain thing. She doesn't care. If she wanted that, we'd be totally screwed. Because then it would be like, oh, well, I guess you're getting that. I'll have to wait. Oh, okay, I'm getting this. You're going to have to wait, you know. So,
PJ, are most of your statue side of things Marvel now? Or,
no, well, I have Star Wars, which it's I have my streaming stuff, most of my streaming stuff downstairs. I do have my Star Wars stuff upstairs, which I did another stream, I think Jedi Lex. So you'll see it's bare right now because there's a lot of things that I have to do to that room.
But they're also
so busy.
I mean, don't you think they're going to come out with the new X-Men cartoon?
Yeah. Oh no, I'm committed. No, this is it. This is it, Matt.
Dude, they're going to come out with
something
shit.
better. I'm done. No, I can't.
Man.
Oh, they will, and I'm okay with mine. Like I can't
For
keep
now.
up. Like I know, right?
Yeah.
I say this, and then like 2 streams later, I'm like, oh yeah, guys, I got the newest X-Men statue. Nah, I think this is it for me.
Yeah,
I'm okay. It's so hard. Like there's so many things. I'm like, oh, I really want that Prime 1 Predator statue. Oh wait, it's $3,000. Okay, wait.
Oh, there's certain things. There's certain things. Just when you see the price tag, you're like, nope. I'm out, and you're fine with that. But the good part is it, like with Matt saying X-Men 97 or whatever, is there's nothing better and worse than when a company releases something and you're kind of in the blah mode right now of whatever that is. Then they release something and you're like, oh crap, I have to have that. That's a fun feeling to have. It may not be good for the pocketbook, but I enjoy that. I enjoy being excited about a product or something that I want to get. You know what I mean? Yeah. So you got to let and it will be like that. There'll be nothing for a long time. And then all of a sudden something will happen. You'll be like, oh, I got to get that. I got to get that, you know?
I mean, the only answer is OnlyFans. I mean, I have to get it.
I've tried. I think I've made $15 in the last 18 months.
Oh, geez, Louise.
Yeah, it's not working too well.
It sounds like my YouTube channel.
It sounds like mine too. But I think my Paradoxner got demonetized because I haven't put out anything.
Damn.
Not demonetized in a bad way. They were like, "Hey, you're not doing anything, so we're gonna take away your, like the Google AdSense, whatever."
They don't like live. They don't like live stuff. They don't like.
No, the algorithm. The algorithm live streams will, like when I was doing live streams and my regular channel stuff, my shit hit the crapper. It was weird. It was like,
yeah, it's crazy.
But the live stuff's the best sometimes. I mean, you can put together a great video. I'm sure Matt knows. I know a lot of you guys know. We've all done it. But sometimes the lives are great because partly it's kind of easy.
Sure.
The stream, you just go, boom, there it is.
Yeah.
But also too because it can go any which way. At any time.
Well, here's a thing that's been kind of working, and just to give you, if you're ever doing a live stream again, you gotta clip it, is what they call it.
Yeah, right.
Do some clips and then put it up. Like you could actually make like 10, 20 videos out of your 1 hour, 2 hour live stream.
Right.
Yeah. But honestly, Nick Nack, I watch a lot of your live stream, man. They're amazing.
Oh,
I think I forgot the guy that you were doing it with.
I had a couple
really
guys on there, yeah.
Yeah, I really hope, because it was just like kind of chilling and hanging out. I enjoyed that. It was
we had a good crew. There was more of a COVID thing, and a lot of those guys, all my guys were not YouTubers. And,
okay.
So it was I felt it was very authentic, but at the same time, they were not in it for clicks and they were not in it for anything. And so now that they got lives, and so it's like it's been hard to get back together for that. But yeah, no, it was a lot of fun when we did it.
Oh yeah, no, seriously, because you kind of like you didn't even like just talk about Star Wars. You talked about everything.
Oh yeah,
all
covered
the old
everything.
like a lot of TV shows, movies.
Yep.
And
we covered everything.
We covered man. I missed the what's that segment you had where pass? Was it the
buy squatter pass?
Yeah, buy squatter pass. That was
pass. Yep.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Yep. We basically we just peer pressure each other into buying shit on air. It was great.
Oh well, that's
and you do it live. You would purchase live.
Oh yeah. If you said you bought it, you bought it.
Yeah.
And he's like, and then you were expected to give updates on it later. So
I can see your friends. Hey, honey, I'm going on Knickknack show tonight. Oh, the hell you are.
Oh yeah, no. Things bad things happened, especially with drinking.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Bad things happened, but it was fun. It was a good time.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, but going back to Hot Toys, it's just way too much, and I feel like it's just with the reissues that just took me out of it, and I was just like, I can't. I gotta stick to one, which is statues now, and Jar Jar. Hopefully Yaddle in the future. Matt, I was gonna say, how about yours, man? By the way, there's a lot of questions about some of your collections, man. I know Pat was asking what was next to you. Which statue?
I mean, this is just the Mythos, some of the older Mythos line right here.
Mm-hmm.
I've got, I think, a Boba Fett. Let me see. Boba, if you can see it. Can you see it? I don't know if you can see it. I never know which way to move.
Yeah.
It's like looking in a mirror.
It's like backing up a boat trailer. You go off.
Yeah, it's really weird. But I got the RS Boba Fett, and what else do I have? I have a couple of the Mythos like Maul and Ventress that I like, but I kind of am at this point where like I'm just like I don't know why I need those. I don't need them, and because I like the old ones. The old ones are great. I've got most of those, and then up top is just my Empire Strikes Back shelf where it's Iron Studios Vader, the collaboration we did with RS for the Snow Commander helmet, which is up there, which is really cool, and then MR AT-AT, and then the Luke Sky, the X-Men, or not X-Men, I'm sorry, XM Luke Skywalker.
Oh yeah, that one's
on
great.
the snow speeder.
It's my favorite. It's my favorite statue.
Did you see the sideshow one that they're looking to make? Where
I don't know if I've X-wing cockpit with the ladder. That one.
I don't know if I've. I mean, did they already come out with like
They have a concept art of it, and pretty much all the concept art that they showcased last year they made, which is like the Mace Windu.
I got you.
The Obi-Wan, the Mythos Obi-Wan, which I think you saw that one too, right? That looks.
Yeah, no, the Mythos one. They're the. I'm sorry, the Mace looks great.
Yeah,
I don't know if I would at this point. You know, what I love about the old Mythos statues is just that everything's sculpted and it's all feels very hand sculpt. Like it's very like traditionally sculpted.
Yeah, traditionally, yeah.
It's really nice.
It's more art to you, right?
It really is. It really is more art, and the size is nice. I mean, they went away from the size already too, didn't they? Didn't they go to quarter scale for the Mythos line?
I think they're not. It's a Mythos premium format.
Yeah,
I think that's quarter. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, so I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to keep going down that line, and I kind of don't. I don't know if I would get Mace just because it has all the clothes, the normal clothing on him, and I just don't know. I don't know if I like that. I'm not sure. He does look great though. He looks great.
Yeah, the party's over with Mace, but you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, he went out the window.
Too many snakes.
Oh my! Oh my goodness!
But otherwise, it's a big mix of stuff.
Did you know I actually spent like a shit ton of money just to watch that Snakes on the Plane movie so that he could just say that one line? It was a horrible, horrible movie.
Yeah, it's bad.
I don't even know why I did that. So
I mean, it's you got to watch it though. It's
I mean, I would have watched it maybe at home. I didn't. I should have watched it in the movie theaters. It was just like all he said was, I've had enough of this mother effing snakes on this mother effing plane, and that was it. I went, all right, worth it, worth the admission, the $22 admission. But yeah, man, how's your collection going? So you've just been kind of like here and there, dabbling here and there.
And I've been getting a couple other things that I just want to put in like our little theater room over here, out there, like like I got the Dune statue. I'd love to get I haven't seen one that I like other than Iron Studios I'd like to get a Harry Potter piece. Just I like the Voldemort on with that snake coming around him that Iron Studios made, but that's old. I think it's sold out. So I'd love for them to make something cool for Harry Potter that I could put out there. Just to have a variety of something out there. But like I said, I'm getting the Masters Universe pieces. I'm going to get both.
Yeah, that's great, man. That's awesome that you're kind of dabbling into it. And it's actually Tweeterhead makes amazing.
They make great statues.
I had the old Sideshow ones, right? And they were phenomenal. But for me, I just want to stick with Star Wars.
Yeah, and I'm also trying to not like. I don't want to get a whole line of something. I don't want to like go like, oh, I want to get a couple like Masters Universe things, and all of a sudden I'm collecting like another massive line of something that I don't have anywhere to put it. So I kind of want to get two that I think would be that, right? That would give me that Masters Universe feel, and I think that's He-Man on Battle Cat and then Skeletor on
Skeletor. That's
Panther.
it. That's all you need.
Because they both match each other, right? And it's just kind of perfect. So
when you think about He-Man, you don't think about Beastman and
right.
Tila. You think of He-Man,
right,
and Skeletor. I mean, that's
and initially when I bought them, because it hasn't come in yet, but when I ordered it, I thought I didn't think they were that big. I just thought they were like whatever. And then now the more I see people reviewing them, you forget. I think it's is it 1/6? I think, but you forget. I mean, the Battle Cat's 1/6. I mean, it's freaking. Like you forget that he's like a freaking massive Battle Cat, right? And so, you think 1/6, and you're like, oh, that's gonna be small, and then you look at it and you're like, wow, that's freaking huge. So I'm gonna have to figure that out. But otherwise, it's been good. It's been great.
That's awesome, man. And
trying to variety, get a little bit of variety in here.
Well, that's good. And Nick Nack, he's got a great collection as well with a very good variety of a lot of things.
Oh yeah. Well, I have one room dedicated to Star Wars, of course, but down here is the arcade/archive room, and so there's
I love that.
Little bit of freaking everything down here. I got Star Trek and arcade games and Jurassic World, Jurassic Park, and I did get into. Speaking of He-Man, I did get into Masters of the Universe quite a bit last year. I bought 2 of the Mondo 1/6.
Yeah, Mondo's making good
Mondo's
stuff.
great.
Yeah, I got Skeletor and I got He-Man, and I might buy more.
They're great.
They're making that. I forgot the name of that vehicle where he's like,
I know what you're talking about.
I had that vehicle when I was a kid.
Yeah,
because it connected to like something else too, right?
This is Skyrider or something like that.
Yeah. Isn't it Prince Adam?
It's Prince Adam.
Kind of weird
Prince
in
Adam,
that though.
Yeah. So I had the original one of it, and when I saw that, it was just like nostalgia just hit me all at once. I'm like, oh my god!
They're gonna start making Thundercats too, aren't they, Mondo?
Oh, probably. Mondo makes some good shit. They
really do.
Yeah, and they did make some of the X-Men animated stuff, but they make really good stuff. I think they're not even really doing art prints anymore. I think they're just kind of just sticking with figures, right?
Well, their art, a lot of their art people
left, right?
Yeah, they started. I think it's Made by Mutant is the place where a lot of those people went and started that other place. So they actually do a lot of prints and vinyl releases that Mondo used to do.
Yeah, it's a shame because I think
Mondo's owned by Funko now, right?
Funko now, yeah.
I think that was
Bottleneck is the next. I think that's the next Mondo, in my opinion. So
yeah, I think that's why people jumped ship. But
that's awesome. Also, Matt, just real quick question: do you still have your pinball machine? I know you bought that Star Wars.
I have 2.
Dude, you have 2?
Yeah, so I've got the Stern.
Dude,
Star Wars.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I got the comic book Star Wars one that has all the comic book styling to it. It's really cool, dude. I don't play it that much, but that's okay. I don't really care. I love just having it. Then we've got a Willy Wonka machine. So,
oh wow.
So those 2 next to each other. They're really fun, but they don't get played a lot, and so it's tough. They're expensive and they're really big, so you have to have room to put those somewhere, right? We have them out in our theater room, which it works for that. which is our garage. I mean, really, it's our garage that we turned into a theater room. So,
okay.
You can't, we don't have basements. So,
That's what sucks.
it sucks. I love it, dude. The pinball machines are, if you can do it, if you have room for them, they are so cool. They're just so much fun. I mean, the Star Wars one, when you play it, they have all the video, the video thing of the Star Wars stuff going. It's just great, dude. They're really fun.
Yeah.
And they're coming out with all kinds of cool, like Jaws and, I think they just came out with John Wick.
John Wick. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. They're coming out with a lot of, I always follow that whole thing because I think it's really fun.
If anything, I was because I just don't know if I have room for like a big full-blown pinball machine, but I know Arcade 1-Up does one.
Yes.
Some. And a little bit more affordable.
They are. Yeah.
And
But they're cool. And
Yeah.
those are ones where like you can play a bunch of different games on them. I think they're more like digital pinball, but they're cool. I kind of got the Star Wars one as like a pinball / just collectible Star Wars piece on its own. Like it's just really awesome. Like the artwork's incredible.
Yeah.
So I really love it. And that's one I would never get rid of. I think I could, I could sell the Willy Wonka one tomorrow. It wouldn't bother me too much. But the Star Wars one's fantastic.
Willy Wonka, the original Willy Wonka, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Which it's a great game. It's really fun. The kids love it. It's a fun game to play. And I also have a couple arcade 1-ups that are in there as well that are fun. Those are always great. They make a great product as well.
Well,
So
I could have sworn I just saw one. You guys are probably well aware of this, but they just came out with one that's 50 games or something like that on it. So it has all the classics in one unit.
Yeah.
Instead of buying a specific one like a Star Wars one or Galaga or something like that.
I think every now and then Arcade 1-Up will come out with a cabinet that does a bunch of different games. So they'll come out with like ones that are very limited and have artwork that are specific to whatever main game that they have on that thing. But then I think that every now and then they'll come out with one that's like got a bunch, but they tend to keep it more like 1 to 3 games per cabinet, don't they?
Well, I mean, well, behind me, I've got Pac-Man behind me. That Pac-Man behind me right there, the yellow one, that's a first gen cabinet. So there's only 2 games on that. There's only Pac-Man and Pac-Man Plus on that. But next to it is a Super Pac-Man. That was actually a Costco exclusive. But on that one, there's Pac-Man, Super Pac-Man. There's like 6 games on that. Games on that. So yeah, it just depends. And then I've got the Final Fight cab back there. That's got like 4 games on it. And then I've got my Space Invaders, and that's like the worst cab I have. It's only got Space Invaders in color and Space Invaders in black and white. But the artwork is really freaking awesome on it.
Yeah,
so I'm happy there. But yeah.
Well, that's why I think I was stoked when I saw the one that was like 50 games worth. So it had like Missile Command and
it's cool.
All the ones that I grew up with, as one.
Yeah.
Nick, you didn't pick up the Star Wars one, huh?
Oh, the Star Wars Arcade 1-Up? Oh yeah, I got it.
Okay, I was wondering.
It's upstairs in the Star Wars.
People love that one.
No, it's a great. That's probably what that one and the Pac-Man machine behind me are probably my favorites.
Yeah,
the old lever.
You got the yoke. It's got the whole yoke on it and everything, and it's a great. It's pretty freaking awesome, and it has 3 games on it. It's got Empire, Star Wars Empire, and then the 83 Return of the Jedi, and the Empire and Star Wars, of course, are the old vector graphics. That we know and love, but yeah, it's great. It's a great cab.
Yeah, one other one that I was wanting to get, but I didn't have room, and I would have been stupid. Was the Stern came out with that Mandalorian pinball machine.
Oh yeah,
this was really cool. Yeah. I think Jason got that one, and I don't even know if he's. I don't know if he actually opened it and put it in his house yet. I think he still has it though, but that one's cool. That one's cool too. That was very tempting, but anything Star Wars that comes out, it's always a tempted.
I know. Yeah, same. I'm like, should I? Like, I really wanted the pinball machine. I just don't know where I would put it, but
that's the problem. They're big. They're really big.
Yeah.
And you'd be surprised how big they are. Like you think, oh yeah, I could probably fit this. Once you see them in place, it's like, geez, dude, these things are freaking massive. Yeah, they're super heavy. Super heavy. So you gotta. It takes a. I mean, if you're trying to get something upstairs or downstairs, oh gosh,
I know that's what I'm. And the thing too is that like I have a Yestercades, which is like a 80s
Yeah.
arcade-ish, place here. And we go there, play the pinball machine. My kids and I have a lot of fun. And I'm just like, wait, man, can I put this in my? No,
It would be sick, dude. See that the one
put it in my room.
the one good thing is that because pinball machines are kind of expensive, if you buy it from somewhere, they probably will bring it to you and put it in place. A lot of people would do that because they know they're heavy. They know it's like it's like getting a fridge into your house, right?
Yeah.
Like it's crazy. So they'll try to help you out with that a lot of times.
That is the one nice thing about these arcade 1-ups. And yes, these are toys. They're not anything like the real thing. They're not made of steel and fiberglass and,
But it's still cool.
Particle board. They're 60 pounds. You can literally move them around.
Yeah, maneuver them.
Well, you build them.
You
build them yourself, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
you do build them yourself, and that can be a little, but once they're built, they're real light. I can carry them up and down the stairs by myself and shit. So
still looks cool though.
Yeah, and they scratch that itch for me. I always wanted a home arcade. You know what I've really tried to base my whole world around is I want to rebuild the house from Silver Spoons. I just can't get the fucking train, but the ride-on train. But I do have a train set. But that's so I've always wanted an arcade machine. My next big thing that I want to get, and I can get them, you can get them for free off Facebook Marketplace. But it's just the logistics is just like a pinball machine. Is I want to buy an old vending machine. I really want an old Vendo.
Sure. Yeah.
I want to buy an old Vendo Coca-Cola vending machine from the 70s or 80s. Because I have this old gas station Coca-Cola sign up there that I love.
That's cool.
That's fiberglass. I just backlit it with LEDs. But I've always wanted a old Vendo, vending machine. But again, just to your point about the pinball machines, I mean they weigh.
They're so heavy.
400 or 500 pounds. I'm afraid I'm afraid I'd break my wife's fucking kitchen tile trying to roll that across down to the basement.
That'd be cool though. That'd be really cool.
It would be awesome.
You need to get a cigarette vending machine, and then you can put it in a bowling lane.
Yeah,
and then you're good.
There you go. Yeah, get the Virginia Slims in there.
Oh my god. All right, how about you, Scott? Man, like, how's your collecting journey so far? I mean, I see a lot of good, like, nice looking hot toys in the back. And it's coming along.
I mean, it's still going with that kind of stuff. There's more over here and throughout the house.
Yeah.
It's definitely slowed down a little bit. One, like with Janine, with her, it was she started going more towards the Batman and Marvel stuff because there was nothing in the Star Wars catalog that was interesting her. Obviously has the itch. She wants something. That's kind of where it started to go into with that. With me, I've just kind of held tight. So I've got some things on pre-order, like the Return of the Jedi Vader Deluxe. I just got the C-3PO. I've got the Dewback coming at some point. That thing's massive.
Nice.
Certain things like that, especially original trilogy. That's me. That's where I really like to live. But I've just kind of backed off, and then all of a sudden. The May 4th hits, at Disney, and all of a sudden you see the T-16 Skyhopper for $40.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, that's a no-brainer. I have to have it. I have the toy, and I even have the model back here from Jason Eaton that I need to put together. But I still had to get that for $40. And then I see the smaller 18-inch Dejarik table. And I'm like, that looks like it. I saw it's that smaller, but I got to get it. So those were the last two things that I'm like, I have to get this when there was nothing at the time that I had to get. There's things that I want, like there's Blaster Factory stuff that I want for props. I want to get an actual MPP from Romans. There's certain things that are on the list, but they're not. Are
you doing helmets, Scott?
Yeah. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7... 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 up here. And then there's more downstairs. And they range anywhere between Black Series. I've got the Bausch from Bausch Builder. I've got the EFX, Vader helmet, but I got it before they found the 3000 that they found. I've got an Anovos tie. I've got a Trooper helmet AT-AT. I've got an RS Hero Stormtrooper, a Moncal Snowtrooper. It's all over the place.
Yeah, right.
It varies, but these are the things that I like, and it's all still, again, original trilogy.
So you're dipping your toe into studio scale as well, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, been playing with that a little bit. So originally I got a it's a Hasbro Falcon, but it's the toy, but not the one you can put figures in. It was like $60 at Walmart at one time, but it has no walls. So I had the walls 3D printed by Shapeways because they do a conversion kit. I'm working on that one. And then somehow I wound up with a DeAgostini Falcon that's sitting here that Gabe put together. David Boudreau bought it. I bought it from David. And it's kind of like I got to figure out how far I can take it back to undo it.
Are you going to paint it?
Yeah.
Yourself?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, that's just stuff that
I got ArchiveX, airbrush, learning that, loving that part of it because I'm in the past I was a cabinet maker, so I like to build stuff and do stuff with my hands.
You've got skills. You got skills.
Yeah. So but yeah, I mean I did that for 18 years. I had my own company.
I mean, you didn't build a Falcon though.
No,
so that's very different, right? Like, that's a very different skill.
Big difference. Make cabinets, kitchens, stuff like that.
At least you know how to use a brush though, or like an airbrush.
Yeah, and I'm learning as I'm going, and I'm loving every part of it. I love being creative. I love learning stuff. There is a thing where it's like you take it out of the box and you go, "Wow, this is awesome." You put it on the shelf, but then there's something else to where you put it together and you're thinking to yourself, man, that took me 8 weeks to freaking do that. And that there's a different joy.
Well, that was the difference between what MYC was doing, or let's say was doing, or EFX, let's say, and what you're talking about, Jason Eaton, a kit or something that you're buying, you have to like do it all. That's crazy.
Well, the thing with EFX that I had a problem with is that, they had some big people, but they were selling like, hey, you want to start a destroyer? No problem. 16 grand.
Yeah. Sure.
Oh, wait. We have to find a builder for you that's nearby and a painter.
Right.
That's like, no, for 16 grand, you better be delivering that thing. Put it there. Make me a nice cup of coffee and some other things before you leave.
100%.
Kind of stuff.
Yeah. And the thing too with EFX, it's just so crazy, right? They have like the license, and I feel like they're not even like doing much with it. It's just like, wasn't that the same license as Master Replicas back in the day? I'm not sure.
Not sure.
Maybe.
But that's a big That's a big reason why people are pissed about the whole MYC thing.
Yeah.
And they should be to a degree. The thing is, and we're going to go into this, which is cool. But it's like, because of companies like EFX or whatever that are not making the products that people are wanting, the fans in a way are making the products, but then they're creating a business out of it. So the fans are getting served, the mouse is not getting served, and here comes this whole thing. But it's like, it should almost be in the license. Okay, here's your license. Yeah, you need to do something blah blah.
I would agree with that. I don't understand the reason why you would give someone a license, and other than there is some sort of backhanded deal going on that they let them have it and they don't need them to do much with it.
Yeah, just to sit on
it. Because even before EFX had it, they were doing less than they are now before. Right. and so that's what's crazy. But yeah, I mean, the whole licensing thing though is the problem is that, like, I was thinking about this the other day, like when if you pay for that money for a license, part of what you're paying for is the exclusivity to have that license. Right. So like, because I've heard so many people say, oh, why don't they just give MYC a license? Why don't they do good work? And it's like, well, someone's paying for that. Yeah, someone's paying for that exclusivity, like to only be able to sell in this region that thing, right? So
do you know, I'm sorry, do you know that when you get a license, you're covered for X amount of time for X amount of dollars per year or whatever, or every time you produce a piece, you have to pay something?
And so it's both. So I think the way, from what I've heard about, and this is something I've heard mainly from Jason, because Jason's talked about it with Tom from Regal Robot here and there. So we know a little bit about it, but probably not a lot. But from what I understand, because Regal Robot just recently put out something that said, "Hey, we got our license extended until like what 2026." Not even that long.
It was
right.
I think Indiana Jones. I think.
Yeah, and I think
extended,
it's like hundreds of thouds of dollars to license every year. I think something like that.
Yeah.
So it's really expensive, and then on top of that, like he said, you don't get it for very long. You have to essentially earn it as you go along. Not to mention from what I understand, they keep track of his books. Like they look in his books. Like they keep track of everything that he sells. Like every piece that he sells, a portion of that goes to Disney. So it's even like if he's got a run of something, let's say he's got a run of freaking 100 of something, you know, selling someone something on the side as like an AP piece or something like, right. He could get in trouble for doing that. So like you can't just do whatever you want with it. Like it does matter. So, but I mean, yeah, I don't know what happens though with like, I don't know what the discussion is behind the scenes of like why someone is allowed to have a license or not. Like like you said, why does the FX get this license when they really don't do a hell of a lot with it? I don't know. I don't know what the reasoning behind that is. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, in some things it could be as simple as it's X amount of dollars. Who's paying it? Okay. You got it. And other times it's, they're going around with the microscope. Nope. Yes, you can have it. You know,
right.
Who knows?
But. Yeah, well, it depends too. It's like whatever is claimed already. Like, you know, I know for a fact that Sideshow has the quarter scale premium format license for Star Wars. Like, no one in this. They might have territories, at least for the you know, the Americas, right? The North American territory. I mean, I know XM Studios might have like the Asian license to sell. That's why they make some. You know, but it's very territorial in some areas.
It is.
But then Iron Studios, you're probably wondering, why is Iron Studios making quarter scales? But supposedly they have the worldwide license, which is, I think, more superior to than
there's different ones. And Sideshows also, not only do they have a license for something, they're also a distributor.
Yeah.
So they distribute other licensors' stuff as well. So it's. But I was talking with Jason about this the other day and saying that like it's interesting because, you know, I've even heard some people like I said, where they said, why doesn't Michael or NYC just get a license, or why doesn't Disney give them a license or whatever? I think it's also very political. Like, I don't think Michael, if he wanted it, could get a license, period. I just don't think that would happen.
Star Wars is very hard. I know for a fact. Star Wars
even though he has basically delivered on time, and if he hasn't, he's let everybody know, which is unlike any license company. Just saying, right?
Yeah. Right.
So even though he's done that, that's something that would not necessarily qualify him for this. He probably is not a big enough of a organization for them to do it. Because if he goes down, let's say he gets sick or something like that, everything could fall apart. They wouldn't allow that to happen under license. But also on the far end of the spectrum, just so you guys know, just because something's licensed doesn't mean it's accurate. That's just one thing I wanted to throw out there, because some people get hung up on everything has to be licensed, and that's great. That's great. You know, buy what you want, but at the same time, it doesn't mean it's accurate.
Well, a good example of that. Look at Disney's lightsabers.
Right
at their park. Those are not accurate lightsabers. They're big. But they're good. They still look good and they feel very hefty. And they're nice if you want to buy a lightsaber from Disney. It's still nice, but they aren't accurate. They aren't accurate. No. So like, yeah, you're right. They don't. I don't think accuracy is in their
description. It's just saying we're allowing you to manufacture and sell this product as long as you give us X amount of dollars.
Correct. And Regal Robot is the one, like Tom is the one that actually cares about accuracy, right? They give you, I think when you license something, they actually give you access to
the archives,
the archives and a lot of scans and a lot of things that you can make things accurate if you want to. But that's not everyone's.
And he's gone an interesting route, which is fantastic because it's so different than anything else of going after the maquettes, for instance, right? Yeah. Nobody's done that, and then he's trying to make them exact, and he's getting signatures and all that other stuff. And I think that end of it is amazing.
And some of them are casted directly from the maquette. Like I believe, I could be wrong. I believe the Jar Jar Binks one is actually casted from the maquette itself, versus other ones. Don't quote me on that, but versus other ones are scanned, right? They just scan them in place, or so but they're still getting very accurate information. So, everything you're getting is fantastic from them, but yeah, like you said, that's not everyone's thing, right?
It's almost interesting too, right? And we'll go back to Hot Toys, and for example, Nick Nack, you had some of the old Sideshow 1/6 scale stuff, right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
They're Star Wars, right?
Yep.
So how come Hot Toys is making Star Wars 1/6 scale figures? I don't know the inside of it, but I heard that maybe Sideshow is lending their license. That's why their Hot Toys is so strained to having Sideshow distribute all their Hot Toys products.
Yeah, Sideshow still makes an occasional 1/6 scale, but not often. For instance, they made the animated Clone Wars figures.
Yes. But they're not like lifelike like the Hot Toys version.
No.
They're more animated.
Sideshow, some of their pieces over the years were really good. I always thought that like the common thing was differentiating between Sideshow and Hot Toys was Hot Toys makes really good characters, like human characters, but Sideshow always made good robots and aliens.
Right.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, it's true.
That was sort of the
I think Sideshow saw the writing on the wall with Hot Toys.
Yeah. They did. Yeah.
They had to. I think they had to make some sort of deal with the license to be able to distribute. Like say, hey, yeah, they can make their stuff and we'll distribute it, right? Because you can't get Hot Toys anywhere.
That's actually
buy
perfect.
them anywhere else.
Yeah.
I
feel like that's the perfect example, Matt. Because again, why would you? I mean, you have an awesome license, the 1/6 scale Star Wars license.
Yeah.
But also at the same time too, when you look at those figures and some of those figures, look at the portraits. You're like, but then here comes Hot Toys like raging through this hobby, and you're like, oh my gosh, those are the life. Like we can't compete with that. Hey, you know what? We'll lend them our license.
We can still make money on it. Can we make money on it? Yes, we can.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how that works because it's funny too. Because like even like now it's like, and God, this is old news. This is all old news. But Hot Toys has been making larger accessory pieces like like your dewback, for instance, and the and the blurgs and the bikes now and the speeder bikes and all that now, and so that usually was that was Sideshow's domain for a really long time.
Yes, so they're
the Hot Toys quality though is better as far as like the speeder bike, for instance. The Sideshow one, you looked at it wrong, it fell apart. The Hot Toys one.
I never had that one. I still got my Hasbro one.
Oh, I had that one, Nick Nack. It was, trust me, you picked the right one, the right version.
Well,
that one fell apart as soon as you like.
Yeah, I have the remnant speeder bike upstairs from Hot Toys. Yeah. And then my Imperial speeder bike is still my Hasbro one from 2000. Yeah.
And really, the moral of the story is don't make a lot of anything. Keep if you're gonna do custom stuff, keep your runs really small. Yeah, because they won't care. Because the thing you gotta remember is if somehow your beloved custom whatever maker all of a sudden got a license, they would have a hell of a lot harder time making something, because Disney would also have to be okay. They'd have to okay everything they make. They couldn't make whatever they wanted.
Actually, yeah. So that's a great point, Matt, because actually, and you guys know this, right? Like I represented Queen Studios in San Diego Comic-Con, and which was great because I actually got a lot of insights on a lot of things.
Yeah. They also worked you to death.
Oh, they did work me to death. They were like, I'm like, can I get a bus, please? No, here's a free T-shirt and a hat. But like the thing too is that like, so I got to, working that booth, I got a chance to talk to a lot of people in the industry, especially like some of the sculptors that work for like Sideshow and things like that. And they would always tell me, they're like, PJ, we would present a piece and they would have to say, no, you got to change this. You got to change this. And then by the time you're done, you're like, oh my gosh, it's a totally different piece from what you made. Like you drew or sculpted originally. For example, the Black Panther premium format, right? They just released, right? And sold out. The artist that showed me that piece, I saw the original and I'm like, oh my gosh, wow, they changed a lot of things. And that's to make your point, Matt, is that it's one thing, they are very controlling of their IP, and it's very hard,
they have the right
especially with Disney,
as they should be, probably.
I mean, if anybody here in this panel owned the Star Wars IP, you would be very protective.
Absolutely, they have to spend that kind of money.
They have to be.
Oh yeah.
And more so if I was making something, my company was making something, and somebody was making the exact same thing, I'd be really pissed.
Correct.
But yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
and you gotta like I said, I think we were off air when I said this, but I was mentioning that it's similar to a trademark, right? It's like Nike trademarking the swoosh, right? Well, if they don't defend that trademark, it's on everything. Like people are, which look, to be fair, it is everywhere. Like if you go like black market stuff, like it's everywhere anyway. But they do have to defend it. They have to defend it as much as possible from businesses, like proper businesses have to license that kind of stuff, right? It is what it is. So it's on them to defend it. And not to mention, if you're a license holder, like if I've said this to Jason multiple times, if I was EFX, I would have gone after NYC years ago because they were making the exact same thing that you would think EFX would be making.
Right.
So like, why would you let that happen? I never understood it, but they were keeping their runs really small and it didn't really matter.
It didn't matter. No. They weren't losing money off of it, but they were stepping on the toes. And that's the whole thing here that's kind of sad in the whole thing. It's again, I can agree with both sides.
Yeah, sure.
Of this coin. I don't like seeing somebody get destroyed to make a point. I think that's kind of, if that's the case. But Disney's not going to feel it one way or the other.
No.
If they were continuing to do what they're going to do, it's not going to hit them in any way. They're not going to lose money.
Yeah.
They're not going to gain money by this.
No.
It's how do you find a medium? It doesn't matter to them because they've got more lawyers than a.
Well, I was going to.
It's a sucky situation.
Well, see, here's the thing, with Yoast. By the way, DC license are very easy to work with. Obviously,
right?
It's from what I heard, it's very
Jazz Inc.
Yeah, if you think about it, he's making vehicles, and so is Hot Toys, right? So, but I think they came with the terms, and they were like, okay, you could distribute like these products, right? But DC's different; they're not as crazy with their license
I don't think
as
they
Star
care.
Wars.
Did Jazz Inc. get hit? Did Jazz Inc. get hit by Disney? I'm sorry, I'm not.
They did.
By Disney or by Warner Brothers?
No, Warner Brothers. I'm
Warner
sorry.
Brothers.
Batmobile, okay.
Batmobile. I'm sorry.
I mean, I thought maybe he was skirting that stuff because he's in Holland or wherever.
No. He was more of a custom, smaller run type of guy, and then Warner Brothers, I think, hit him up, and I think through that they ended up coming to an agreement on a license, and which is I think what he would have wanted anyway.
And the big thing he said, if Hot Toys is going to make it, I will not make it.
Right.
He would not complete, but then he made something, and then Hot Toys made it too, and it seemed to be okay. So I was
always really like, that was always like a weird situation that I was like, because I purchased the land speeder from him. Yeah. And I was really, really reluctant to do a review on it because I felt like I'd kind of gotten like a secret kind of code thing. And I didn't want to be the guy that gets Jazz Inc. busted. I ended up doing a review on it. I'm not trying to like overinflate my channel, but hey, it's out there. And but I was always really reluctant to do reviews on his stuff because I didn't want to get him in trouble.
Well, and Matt knows this. Like I don't really collect customs just because I've seen, I've been in the statue game for quite a bit here, and I've just kind of like seen some people get screwed with some of the custom stuff. Not to say take anything away from the fan art. They are great pieces. They are amazing, beautiful pieces, right? Some even better than the license.
Right.
But at the same time, too, is that like I've seen people and they did reviews on or videos on their channel where they're like, well, I got screwed $2,000 out of a custom piece. And I'm like, listen, if my wife ever finds out that I lost $2,000, that's it. Game over. I will not be able to collect anything.
But I could say this, 2 licensed companies, EFX and Anovos, have done that.
But at least they're return.
Yeah, they are now, but how many years later?
No, I hear you.
Like 10 years later, the Scout helmet or whatever has taken 7 years to finally come about. So you gamble on either one. More likely on a one-to-one non-company. But I think with having a license, like whatever company, if they're not delivering and they're holding people's money and they've had it for years, they should lose the license.
No, I hear you, and that's there. I'm not arguing against that. Like I'm even saying that just because it's licensed doesn't mean it's quality. Like it doesn't. It just means that really there's not a whole lot you can do about it or anyone can do about it. They are allowed to defend their license and their license holders.
Yes.
And that is exactly what's going on. So NYC's not getting it. You feels like they're getting screwed, but they're not getting screwed in reality because
they just got caught.
They got
probably
caught.
the better term.
Yeah, they got caught, and it's a bummer because they could have not gotten caught, possibly, maybe. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that for sure. And I want people to know for sure that like I don't know it's EFX. I honestly I have no idea who.
It's a good assumption though.
We will never know, but yeah, I mean. I would
That's
assume.
the competing license. Well, I mean, it could even be something like, let's say Sideshow's decided we're going to start doing ships as statues and has put their foot down.
You never know.
That.
Yeah,
you don't know. You don't. The thing is, though, if you start seeing any company starting to come out with what Michael was doing, then you know who it was.
Let's just say I wouldn't even if I wanted to make Mickey Mouse stuff, like nah, like I wouldn't dare to. Like,
no,
because
Mickey Mouse, no.
The mouse, Mickey would definitely come knocking my door himself. And dress up
but again,
I dress up as Mickey.
Again, PJ, this is why part of me is like, man, it's a bummer because obviously, in hindsight, it's easy to say all this stuff, but like, it's a bummer they went to the ships and went so. They got to the point where freaking wasn't George going on and doing like 10 days of Christmas? Like they were actually advertising all this stuff. And it was like, I think that's where things started to get too ridiculous. And not to mention you can go on a website, you can pre-order, you can it's all
too known.
It's all set up like an actual full-on business. And I know that's really convenient and great but I think that's the type of thing that, man, I think that's what killed it. And it's too bad because people were getting stuff that I really liked. I mean,
they're great. They were great
NYC makes great stuff and they deliver. They actually deliver on what they're saying.
I saw that Millennium Falcon. I'm like, wow.
No. And look, I've got the NYC Mandalorian and I love it. I've had it forever. I love it. It's great. I got the R5D4. I love it. They make good shit. That's not the problem. It's really just that they got caught.
Maybe moral of the story, just lay low.
Well, I don't know if you've, and I don't know if you noticed this, Scott. I'm sorry, I don't want to interrupt, but we've gotten hit up by people saying, "Hey, don't say our name anymore. Like, don't say our custom statue company name anymore. Don't say this. Don't say it." Like, actually hit up by people saying, "Don't do this anymore," because they're worried. Yeah, I totally get it.
But no one wants,
I think with some people, like we've got, custom makers, they're small. They're not going to be big companies. I don't think you have too much to worry about because if I was to contact X and I want this kind of a helmet or contact this person, I want this kind of a prop or whatever, that's fine. I think it's when it gets to that point to where what Michael had to do to make sense is when this stuff has to be made from a factory in a batch. 50, 80, 100, whatever. That's when you're starting to get into the because you need a website at that point,
right?
Or you need to have enough orders or pre-orders or whatever.
Well, and Scott, one thing they were also doing is they got to the point where people were getting mad that they weren't getting these things, right? That they weren't actually able to order them, so they were leaving the orders open for 5 minutes, and whatever came in 5 minutes, that's what they made. That's a problem because if all of a sudden your orders are 200, 300 because there's actual people that want to buy your shit, which is great. That's awesome. But like you're competing with some of the bigger people. Like you can't like, that's so dangerous, dude.
Well, it's like, what is it in the drug world, per use amount or intent to distribute amount. That's an intent to distribute amount, and it's really pushing it.
It's dangerous,
right?
yeah. It's dangerous.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not sure. And guys, I'm really speculating about this stuff. We don't know much. I goes, are people getting refunds? I don't know.
I have no idea.
The thing is, with that, as far as I know, Michael will contact the people that have things. And
listen,
they're trying to figure something.
Listen,
out.
I will say this: Michael's a good guy.
Yes,
Michael's actually a good
100%.
person. I will say, I'll say that, but I will also say if I had money out with this situation, I would be concerned. Yeah. And I don't know anything else. I don't know anything. I promise to God, but I would still be very concerned. Michael's not trying to screw anybody. He doesn't want to screw anybody in this life. No. But what can you do if you don't have the money to pay that back? And I don't know if he does or not. I'm just saying that's got to be a lot of money, because I don't know if he's allowed to actually get products to people and get money at this point. Mm-hmm. I would imagine he's not. I would think that would be against.
No,
like it's not like Disney would be like, "Hey, just finish off these orders and you're good to go." Like,
I will say this: if for some reason you wind up with your order and everything like that, keep it really quiet. Just keep it.
Oh
quiet.
yeah.
Because if something happens,
if you're lucky,
keep it.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah. If somehow you end up with a slave one, lucky you, but don't say anything.
He took care of me. Check me out. Check me out. Yeah. No.
Yeah, but Snoke Dogg. I mean, come on, Snoke Dogg's
Snoke
Dogg.
That's so fucking cool. Snoke Dogg.
Yeah. So before we wrap things up, though, and that's good input. With a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff with license, right? And there's so many technicalities. And it's, like I said, with Star Wars, Disney, it's very expensive. Star Wars. I mean, look at Prime One. Look
anything
at
Disney's.
Look
expensive.
at Queen Studios. They've been trying to get a Star Wars license for the longest time, getting rejected. And just I wanted to just let you guys know, it is hard to get a license. I went to Toy Fair one year, and Toy Fair, I'm not sure if you guys don't know this, there's a lot of people go there to kind of showcase all these products that they want licenses for, Star Wars license, whatever. And I went there and I see like the little guys, the little people really trying to get, I don't know, Star Wars Colgate or something, Star Wars toothbrushes. Yeah. And they're all fighting for the license and they're getting rejected. And it's hard. And I know there's a lot of steps.
Dude, you have to get licensed to tattoo Star Wars.
Yeah. Oh, really? Oh,
there's licensed tattoos for Star Wars. Like when they tattoo people at the cons, right? They're licensed tattoos. Like those are actually like licensed like artists. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And that's crazy.
And that's and Queen Studios was trying to PCS got it, but again with PCS I think they're making 1/3 scale, which is crazy because then Blitzway has their Star Wars license, which I'm assuming is 1/3. Very interesting. A lot of things are very interesting with license. Yeah. But again, long story short, it is very, very difficult to get a Star Wars license. Even if I were lucky enough to get a Star Wars license, guys, for anything, if I wanted to make, I don't know, toenail clipper Star Wars products, like I'm sure like I would have to pay $1 bajillion just to keep that license.
Probably levels, I would imagine.
There's certain things that they're probably trying to make examples of in this case, unfortunately, NYC. Yeah. But if they really wanted to shut everything down, then Disney would go after Etsy and completely close it. Because there's so much Etsy stuff in there of makers that make this or make that.
Yes, and Scott, one thing we mentioned when we did our stream about the licensing stuff, Disney is actually like, they do let people. They understand. They clearly understand that fans want to make stuff,
right?
So, and they don't go after everybody. They let people make stuff and sell stuff. They just don't want you to get to the place where you're competing against a business, like a full-on business. Like that's where you have to be careful, and that's where things got, I think, a little bit crazy.
Because nobody wants to see it be like, yeah, dude, I got the Hot Toys right here. That's
right.
You want it?
Come on.
Yeah, it's just one of those things. Like as a collector, I mean, I some of my most favorite pieces are fucking third party stuff. I mean, like for instance, like man, we're talking about Star Wars, but look at all these bots up here. Oh, these are all third party. None of these are Hasbro.
Awesome.
Right. Yeah, fuck right. Fuck awesome. Yeah, right. Yeah, none of these are like third or Hasbro Takara. Right. They're all fans toys or Gigapower or whatever. They're all third party foreign licenses or pieces. So from that side, it's awesome as a collector. But I also I get it. I work in the entertainment industry, and it's so the headwinds are so nasty right now, and it's a hard business to be in, and and you definitely don't want anyone eating your lunch on the side. So
exactly.
Yeah.
Well, with you being a Chippendale, I mean, how does
exactly? Well, it's the coins aren't flying as they used to, but I'm also not a, I'm also not as young as I used to be.
No dollars.
Guys,
They're throwing change.
No. People don't like the silver fox as much. Let me just tell you.
He's got to defend his own IP, guys.
They're throwing IOUs at this point, right?
That's right.
Like that one, that's worth 500.
Yeah.
Well, and one thing I don't know how this works, because like look at a company like Super 7.
Oh yeah,
right.
They
make a lot of things, but I don't know how they started in the industry. Like, how did they start? Were they making stuff on the side, found a way to license something, then made more things, found another way to license something, right? Like,
probably. I mean, I can't picture like, hey, I have a company I'm just starting. Knock, knock, knock. I want a license.
Never gonna happen, right?
It's not gonna happen. Yeah.
But somehow they got there, right? So like, companies do make stuff and get to that point, but I know for a fact that it used to be that if you made something that was Star Wars, it would actually go in front of George Lucas, and he would say yes or no. He would be like, I like it or I don't like it. And if you didn't like it, you didn't get a license. But if you liked it, you got a license. So that's probably because George wanted a shit ton of money, and so he would license a lot of stuff. But like, the hard part about Disney is they don't need to do anything. Like they can be very selective, and even if someone isn't using the license like you or I might want them to, they don't give a shit. It doesn't matter.
They're getting
I actually heard the opposite about that kind of. I always heard that George was pretty
strict,
prickly about what he'd give a license to.
Well, it might have been, but I feel like he did give it was a little bit easier than going to Disney.
So I could see the thing too is if there was a chance to meet George Lucas in person, and all I got to do is like, hey, come up with something, toenail clippers, dude, I would just make that excuse just to meet him. Oh, by the way,
yeah, but PJ, he'd probably also make you sign your visual rights,
your likeness,
your likeness. Like that guy took everyone's likeness and just made it a thing. Like, it's crazy.
This is where he was smart. It's like that when he did Star Wars, I'm gonna call it Star Wars, A New Hope, right? Star Wars, he wanted the merchandise. That's his original intent was to market it, right? But the movie companies were like, oh, take it, whatever, that's crap.
Yeah, they didn't care.
They didn't realize what the money. I mean, now that's exactly what it's all about. It's the merch.
Yep.
Merch is everything, even to rock stars, bands, stuff like that. It's all about the merch. That's where they make their money, not making an album.
Right.
It's on tour.
Touring,
it's the merch.
and merching and all that.
Yeah, the $30 T-shirt, the Taylor Swift T-shirts. I don't know.
That's where the money is.
That's from what I heard. They're $30. I've never been to a concert.
Bracelets, bro. The bracelets.
Yo, what the hell is with those bracelets, man?
Well, I don't know. People love them.
Oh, geez. Okay. Before we wrap things up, I just want to ask you guys, state of Star Wars. What are you guys thinking? How Star Wars is? Is it in a good place right now? Is it in a bad place? Is things looking up? And I saw an Instagram post, just to kind of preface what I'm trying to say here too. There were some like YouTube content creators that actually got a chance to go to Lucasfilms and meet like Dave Filoni and the rest of the gang for Acolyte. I guess they're gonna like talk to them about. But that's crazy though. Like, is that, I don't know. What do you guys think about Star Wars right now? Is it in a good place?
I would say it's in a tough place right now. Not collecting wise. Like, I don't think collecting wise is in a tough place. I think there's a lot of collectibles to choose from, and that's cool. I think in everything else, I think it's tough because I think Acolyte's coming out and people are very questioning whether.
Which is I don't get it because it actually kind of looks decent to me.
It looks decent. It looks decent. In my opinion, the problem I have is that I feel like what Disney should be going for is more of a Game of Thrones style type of Star Wars, not in a rated R type of fashion. I'm not saying that.
More drama, more serious, more
drama,
deeper,
more like
deeper.
The biggest, I think one of the biggest problems they've had that maybe no one's really talking about, but I feel like this is a problem is I feel like every episode we have seen is like 30 minutes, 20 minutes.
Oh yeah.
Minutes.
Yeah, that's true.
And it feels really cheap. It feels really like small. And I just feel like they aren't these like long like every Apple TV series I watch is like an hour long, and there's a lot of drama. It's amazing, right? Like really good TV.
Even Prime, right?
Yeah.
All
Why can't we get some of that? And I think that's what some people are kind of looking at now. Like, it just doesn't feel like
Disney's the only one doing that. 38 minutes, 52 minutes, 25 minutes. They're the only ones doing it. It's just
that's a cost. It's a cost issue. It's so much money to produce those shows.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. I loved Andor.
They're Disney.
I loved Andor.
Even Disney has limitations, guys.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, even some of the Marvel stuff.
They've lost a shitload in streaming.
Yeah.
They did.
Oh yeah.
Streaming's a tough business right now.
Well, the thing is,
that's why everyone's coming together. Everyone's it's like a all these streamers are coming together to kind of join
bundling. It's called bundling.
Yeah, bundling it up.
Yeah, but the thing too with streaming, it's hard because with the like cut the cable, like I'm just gonna
cord cutting.
We did it.
Yeah, we all did it, but then with all this streaming service, literally, there's Peacock, there's freaking Amazon Prime.
Well, that's the problem.
It's so much.
Everyone went with their own streaming service and figured out that not everyone needs my content, right? There's so much content now that you can just kind of pick and choose what you want. But the old cable situation was better for them because they could just make content, put it up on TV, and you're paying. Right. Regardless if you're watching it or not. And now, you can unsubscribe whenever you want. And, it's tough.
And you know what? And that's why I always say this is that Disney, instead of making, we should make a 4 episodes, it's going to be quality. They have to make 6 episodes so they could keep you subscribed even longer.
Well, their plan is genius. So Netflix is all about, here's the season, right? And then you sit there for 4 days straight. But with Disney, it's keeping you there long enough that when this ends, there's another one to where you can't get to a point where you're like, I'm just going to quit the subscription.
They also want
wait a minute, I want this one. Yeah.
They also want to cross shows over a billing cycle too.
And it's genius. It's genius on that business end of it, that business model, because it keeps you hooked, right?
Yeah, keeps you hooked. But
streaming completely broke the entire industry, and I can say this from a lot of experience.
I agree.
The thing with streaming, the problem with streaming was that like everyone decided that, hey, look, we can forego the middleman of paying Cox, Comcast, you name it, to sell our content to, and so we can sell it ourselves.
Yeah.
And the problem is that we're all keeping all of our content. We have no one to sell it to.
Right.
Well, so what do? They get into the internet business and they're supplying your internet now. So it was just figuring out how it flips. I don't know of too many people that just have regular cable back in the day.
Right.
Yeah. Like Dish Network or something.
And the thing I wish Disney would adopt, and I don't know if this is the way I feel about the perception of things is right. Like with Apple TV, my perception of it is that they don't need it. Like Apple doesn't need the content to be successful. And so they make really good shit. And everything they make, like almost every show that the Apple makes, I swear to God, is pretty damn good. If it may not be my style for everything, but they have something for everybody, and it's really, really high quality, in my opinion. Yeah. And I wish Disney would go to that, but the problem is that Disney does need their content. Like they need that side of things to work, and but that's also because their parks, the Disney parks, take a massive amount of money to keep going.
Be there. Oh, yeah.
And
also to be there. I mean,
overhead is crazy.
I think it's like $160 a ticket or something now.
Oh, yeah. Trust me. I know. I just came back from Disney.
Yeah.
And literally, I think I had to I don't know, to get a side gig, like DoorDash or something, just to make it.
Got to work the street corner for at least 4 hours before you can go in. Yeah.
I was like, I did 2 days straight,
That's crazy, dude.
But again, it's quantity now because they're trying to keep you hooked, and to me that's not good. How about you, Nick Nack? We
started out talking about Star Wars. We ended up talking about the entire entertainment industry in general.
Sorry.
You know what? So just to get back to base here, I think Star Wars is in an okay place, and this isn't coming from someone who's in love with the current content that's coming out. I wish I wish that the entertainment section of Star Wars, meaning the production, what they're producing for television and motion picture, lined up with what they were putting out as collectibles, because I think they understand what collectors want. I don't think what the problem is that I don't think they understand what Star Wars fans want in as far as shows and movies. No. You know, here's the thing. Look, and I've said this before, and I'll say this again. Look, they have sidelined their greatest characters, and they're pushing things that I'm not going to say agendas or anything like that, because hey, I'm a liberal. I'm a
sure
die on the wool liberal, but I don't want to see that kind of stuff in my entertainment.
Yeah, I get that.
And I think that they've sidelined their, like the fact that we haven't gotten, and I know that there's issues, the characters are played by actors who are now old and or dead. But the thing is that, Luke, Han, and Leia are like Batman's, Captain Marvel, or not Captain Marvel, but Captain America and the Hulk, or Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman. They're the Trinity of Star Wars. They're the Trinity. Mm-hmm. And what have we gotten from those characters from Disney outside of a botched launch in the sequels, and then a few Easter eggs here and there in their shows? Nothing.
Right.
Nothing. Yeah. And yeah, I'm an old Gen Xer, but the truth of the matter is I am still sitting on my ass in 2024 waiting to find out what happened to Luke Skywalker, Han, and Princess Leia after Return of the Jedi, outside of what they had in novels.
Yeah.
That's a problem. To me, that's a problem.
That's a problem.
Yeah, and the thing too is that, like, again, I think they need to go back to the basics, which I think they are, because their next movie is Heir to the Empire. They're trying to go back to the expanded universe stuff. They're releasing collectibles that's expanded universe.
Yeah, again, if the shows were following what they're putting out for collectors, be awesome. I think that they would be in a better place.
You're talking about putting the two together, because they do work together.
Putting the two together, like someone mentioned before in the chat, which I thought was a really good comment, that he saw that Disney was so reluctant to hand out the approval for Hot Toys to do a Dark Empire Luke.
Yeah,
and that they're finally coming around to that. Well, I hope that maybe they're coming around to maybe putting that stuff out there in other venues besides merchandise. Because it just feels like whenever they bring out Luke Skywalker, they just want to sell me something. They just want to fucking sell me something. They don't actually want to give me something, to watch.
Getting all pissed about it.
No, it's a button for me. It's a trigger for me, man.
Yeah.
It's like, they bring out Mark Hamill to sell the latest video game for whatever. They bring him out, put him in a commercial, which is cute and everything. But hey, man, I want fucking Luke Skywalker. Mark Hamill looks great. Guy looks great. He can play him. And
the thing too, and what Matt was saying about like the Game of Thrones stuff, they have it. It's called the Old Republic, and I played like the old game on the computer and stuff, and there's a lot of different houses with that era, and that, like I said, if they bring mature content like that, here's the thing: why is Amazon producing and Apple TV producing amazing shows, and Disney can't? I don't understand that logic. And Disney, I thought Disney had more money than maybe someone like Apple, but I guess not.
People maybe.
And on top of that, bring Star Wars back in the big screen. I watched Phantom Menace in the big screen just like a couple of weeks ago for May the 4th, and I was like, okay, say what you say about the prequels. To me, it felt so nice just to watch a Star Wars movie in the big screen again.
I felt the same way with the Return of the Jedi. It was like, wow,
same with the Return of the Jedi.
Yeah, this is great.
And it's just like seeing the Lucasfilms like pop up again, the logo and things like that. It's just, we need.
Well, that. and I think everyone needs to. I think we all need to keep in mind too that Star Wars, not everything that's made has to be for us.
True.
You don't have to like every single thing that's made.
No, but I'd like to like something.
Oh, no doubt. And that's a problem. If there's not something there for you, that is obviously a problem.
Yeah. Hey, man, you know what? Hey, you know what? The Acolyte probably isn't for me, and it's cool. It doesn't have to be for me.
Right.
But again, it's like, I just God, give me a Luke Skywalker cartoon, man.
Oh, for sure.
Something.
For sure. And I'll say this, Andor was for me. I loved Andor because I love Rogue One, and that movie was fantastic. So, to me, those were things that would write down, my out. Like, it was just kind of perfect. But I agree. If there's not something there for you, if Mandalorian didn't do it for you, if there's a couple of, things that kind of missed, like Ahsoka and some other things, yeah, I mean, I get it. It's another problem where there's just nothing there for you, and what are you going to do? And you can't really expect, hey, these things are missing, so watch a cartoon, like watch what's it called? What's the
Clone Wars? Rebels,
yeah, Clone Wars or Rebels.
Yeah.
Like you can't necessarily expect that people are just going to jump on that stuff, because it's not everyone's into that stuff. So it's tough.
Yeah.
You gotta.
It's tough, especially in this day and age where it's so hard to like kind of please people.
Yeah, well,
because everyone's comes in different.
Yeah,
but
and
the
I
thing
get
too,
that. But the Clone Wars was so wildly successful. There's so many.
It was very good.
There are so many people that are out there that are a little younger than me.
Very good.
That came in saying, you know what, I never really liked the prequels, but after seeing the Clone Wars, I get it.
Yeah.
And
so I would love to see something, even if it's in that animation yoke, or animation style, for something, post Return of the Jedi, just something to fill in that fucking gap, man.
I get that.
And I think they can do it. And the thing too is that they just need to kind of stay true to the stories that's been written, right? And like, for example, X-Men 97, that show was effing amazing.
Crazy.
And the thing too is that I think you could enjoy it from a non-comic book aspect and a comic book aspect, just because it stayed true to the characters in that show. There was no agenda. I mean, come on, it's freaking mutants that's like being exiled here. So like, it's perfect for Disney, right? Mm-hmm. So it stayed true to the characters, great storytelling, and everyone loves it. It's just go back to the basics. Just tell good stories. I don't care what it is.
The whole thing. Tell good, because like when Mandalorian came out, that reignited everybody. Anybody that was sitting there that has always loved Star Wars but wants to love it again, it came back it fired me up. Plus, with the perfect storm of the whole pandemic COVID thing, everybody's sitting there looking for something to do. And it all just worked really well together. And then, of course, a lot of Star Wars fans start pulling out the old freaking magnifying glasses. And, that's not quite correct. And that's a little off there. And I don't think I like this anymore.
But they're so, those people that pull it out, it's such a small group, right?
Yeah.
Even though they have the loudest, mouths. But in all honesty, we just need good content. I think let's just go back to the 80s style of storytelling. I mean, look at how many shows and movies came out.
80s, I take mid 2000s PJ at this point.
Oh, mid 2000s.
I take the 80s.
But think about this with COVID, and I got to run after this. I'm sorry, but
that's fine.
With COVID, I do feel like now that we're past a lot of that and we're into a different thing, I feel like shows need to earn it now. And they didn't have to earn it then. So they did a lot of Star Wars stuff during the time where people, like you said, just sat around there's nothing else to do. You watch something and you're like, this is great. We have stuff to watch. Yeah. Now everybody's busy. Everybody's back to doing normal life and back to it all. And you have to earn someone's time. Yeah, you have to make something worthwhile to sit down and watch.
That's totally fair. But I will say with Mandalorian, to me, at least, personal opinion, of course. Yeah. Mandalorian season 1 and 2, to me, that's that was peak Star Wars.
That was good.
Mm-hmm. That was good.
That was it right up through the finale of the second season, and I'm actually was okay with a lot of the third.
Right up until Grogu came on the screen.
Well, I just didn't like that they gave Grogu back so fast. That's my only bit. They masterfully handed him off to Luke Skywalker.
Yep, great.
To give him back in 2 episodes of the Book of Boba Fett, which were ham-fisted and shoved in. And felt very, very manufactured.
He's a babysitter.
Well, and I know, Matt, you have to go. So just really quick. No, but him being handed back, that was not Jon Favreau's idea.
No, it wasn't.
No, it was Disney. They were like, hey, you sent away our cash.
Well, they were making too much money.
They're
making way too much money on him.
Yeah. So Matt, I don't want to hold you up. I know you have to go, but listen, it was a pleasure. We got to get you back on the show.
No, absolutely. It's great seeing you guys again. Happy to come on again. Look, it's just great
to talk to. more to talk about.
Yeah, great to see all you guys. And just thanks for having me on. It's fun. I enjoyed it.
Yeah,
So,
same.
Cool.
Okay, man.
Thanks, guys.
We'll talk. Okay.
Okay.
Later, man.
Take care, buddy.
Later. Yeah. So, but anyway, last thing, Scott. Like, how are you feeling about Star Wars nowadays?
I mean,
Good place, bad place.
I don't know. I think it's still sitting okay. I'm happy that we're still getting content, but I do agree with the consensus of stop wasting our time and sit down and make, put out a good product. The thing is, like what we saw with the last season of Bad Batch, and I know you haven't seen it, Nick Knack, but the thing is that season was fantastic compared to some of the other fluff that we got from the other ones. There's always going to be a filler episode here and there, but there was less of it with this. And it's like, if you're going to spend the time to make a filler episode, why not just do a good episode? Do something good there. Why waste our time and your time doing it? I don't understand that point. It's like, I don't know, it just doesn't make sense. But yeah, make better content. Like I said, I'm glad that they're still doing stuff versus just shutting it down. But maybe what they need to do is stop for a minute and look at things and look at different concepts. Like what Nick Knack was saying about the missing years. To be honest, I've never even thought about it because I've lived in that little bubble. Return ended it for me with that, and everything that came before the prequels and came after are movies to me, whether if they're good or bad. Same as like I love Back to the Future and Raiders of the Lost Ark. I mean, I absolutely love these films, but I'm not at a point to where I'm collecting everything and they changed my life like Star Wars did. So there's a little bubble there that stays protected, and the other things
That's
are just
nice.
things.
I miss that bubble. The sequels popped that bubble for me real bad though.
Yeah. You let it. Don't let it.
I did. I let it. No, you're right.
Yeah.
No, you were absolutely right.
And the thing too is that like, I don't know if this is what they're trying to do. Obviously, they made noise with Thrawn and the announcement of Heir to the Empire movie directed by Dave Filoni. I'm wondering if it's going to be to the point where maybe they'll do the sequel trilogy that we deserve, and maybe they'll end it in a way where you can kind of like not have the sequels as your sequel trilogy, where that is the end, like right there and then. And I hope that would
I've
be
been
the
wishing
case.
upon that star for so long, and I don't think they'll ever retcon those damn movies.
Well, hopefully they're smart enough. I believe Disney's smart.
I think they're a narrative dead end, and I think that's a big problem. But
yeah they are. I absolutely think they are.
I also think on the merch side of things, because this was brought up, if companies, including Disney, would do more original trilogy stuff on top of whatever else they're doing for merch, same with Hot Toys and all that other stuff, I think it's an easy cash cow. It's a no-brainer for them. They'll make a killing if they do more of it. I mean, that Hollow Chess table that they just did, it's the first of what they're calling their archive series.
Yeah.
And it was cool to see that in the T16 because those are from A New Hope.
And absolutely, and just to hit on that point one more time, because as a longtime fan, I've been into this game since 1978. And as far as I'm concerned, guys like us Gen X guys, us older guys, we've been paying the bills for 40 years on this IP.
Oh, easy. Yeah.
We've been paying the bills. And at the same time, it's like, something that Matt said, well, you can't expect everything to be for you. No, I don't expect everything to be for me, but hey, I've been paying the fucking bills on this forever. And I do feel entitled to have a little something once in a while. And I don't feel like we're getting that. And that's where my big resentment is coming in.
Yeah. Yeah. And I agree with you. And, and Duback made a great point here, because X-Men 97 was great because you had not only a fan of the original series, but someone who stayed true to what fundamentally makes the X-Men great. He didn't try to make X-Men for a modern audience.
Right. Stuck to what it was.
But look how successful they were, which is mind-boggling. Like, why would you change characters just to change characters?
Yeah.
We fell in love with them for a reason. We fell in love with Luke Skywalker because he was hopeful. He was our hero. Why making him a downer?
He embodied optimism, and
yes,
he was the modern. He was the modern heroes, the modern Joseph Campbell's Hero's Journeys
yes.
icon. You know, he was cited in my lit classes 30 years ago at the University of Wyoming. I mean, that's how awesome Luke Skywalker is.
Yeah,
and that was, you know,
right.
and
but
you don't deconstruct that.
Yeah,
it's not something for you to personally deconstruct as a director. Sorry, now I'm going into The Last Jedi now, but you know.
Yeah. No, I'm with you, Nick Nack. And again, it's just back to basics. I don't understand. It's not rocket science here. I don't know why reinvent the wheel. Why
try something different that they think they have to appeal to a bigger audience, or that they think this little section that's screaming very loud that they've got to do something for that, or somebody's just like, hey, what if, you know, Han Solo had, you know, 18 legs and da-da-da. Let's try that. I don't know.
Yeah, well,
you know, I don't know what it is, but it's obviously...
Yeah, I mean, here's where they get into trouble with. Here's what they get into trouble with Star Wars. And this is why Star Wars is sort of different from other IPs like Star Trek or Transformers or what have you. Star Wars to so many people is modern mythology, and we look at it through a mythological lens. Like, these are timeless stories, and so when you put petty, I don't want to say petty. But, you know, again, I'm a liberal, and I you know, but when you put some of these modern sort of tropes into it, it comes out cheap, and it comes out like something like you think you're ordering something awesome, and you're getting something off Wish.
Well, especially if it feels forced, like, and you can take any movie, right? If it goes with the story, whatever this is, if it goes with the story, I'm all for it. Great. But when something comes in over here because they feel like they need to, whatever that is, I don't like it. I don't like it.
And the thing too is that there's a lot of now, in my opinion, like I bring up the 80s because there's a lot of original stories from, you know, and like Aliens, Predator, He-Man, like Transformers. There's so many. But now, if you go on like Disney Plus, there's not a lot of original stories. A lot of them are rehashes of everything. There's a rehash of this. There's a rehash of Jurassic Park again. Let's continue the story as a. It's just like, come on, guys, come up with something new, something different.
Well, Star Wars was a rehash, just in a newer form, but the story stayed the same. You know, good versus evil, doing the right thing. Boy comes up from nowhere.
But
you know?
It was a remake of Buck Rogers and
but
1950 serials and old westerns, basically, and Kurosawa's
Kurosawa,
inspirations, yes, but in the terms of like we watch it, it's kind of like original, right? And it's just like, let's get more original stories, you know, good storytelling, and that's it. And I think, in my opinion, for us Star Wars fans to kind of like start accepting Disney Star Wars as a whole, I think they kind of have to right the wrong, which is what they did to Luke Skywalker, what Nick Nack said, so that we could put it down, we could close the chapter on that, right, and move on. We can't move on because we still felt wrong with what happened to our hero.
I think what Disney did, and please, if you guys feel different, say something. I think they purposely tried to kill off our Star Wars that we grew up with, so that they could say, no, we're done with that. This is the Star Wars now. This is what you're going to get.
But that's not how you do it, though. It's called passing the torch.
That's how it feels.
You may be right, Scott. I don't know. I mean, I don't know that was their intent. But that's, at the time, that really felt like the intent. And that's, you know, again.
If you think about it, a good majority, like, look at Boba Fett. Look what happened to him. Like, he went from this badass character to
hey,
now,
you want to work for
me?
Oh,
yeah, you want to work for me? And then he hires some, like, I don't know, the moped gang.
Well, the Boba was in The Mandalorian, was freaking badass and amazing. And then we get into the Book of Boba, and it's like, what are you doing to him?
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, that one didn't I'll actually defend the mouse a little bit on that. And they kind of put him on like a sort of a spiritual journey that he spent, 5 years in the wilderness with the Sand People, and basically he learned the value of family, and he revisited, he had all these memories of Jango Fett, his father, that he'd suppressed, and he revisited all these, and so he kind of found his own honor system a little bit. I do think they kind of softened him up a little bit.
a lot of it. Yeah.
But there was also some great scenes in there. Like when he's in Slave One and he just basically lights up that entire pike gang on their speeder. Their bikes.
Yeah.
There was some awesome shit in there. So I'm not as down on that particular rendition of that character because again, that character never really was outside of what was previously established as canon from the original films. He was just a guy in a costume.
Well,
he was
this
sort
is
of an open. Go ahead. Go ahead. Yeah.
No, I was going to say, and this is really, really small, and I don't mean anything by it, but little stupid things like this that drive me nuts. We know that ship of exactly what you called it, Slave One. It's always going to be Slave One, but they had to change it in the Disney verse as Boba Fett's Starship or Fire Spray. They had to change the name. That type of stuff to me is just like, unless it is extremely offensive.
No, I don't. Again, I don't know. I don't want to speak for any marginalized communities or anything like that, but I've never heard anyone having a problem with that ever. But so I agree with you there.
Yeah. And again, it's just leave the characters. They're created for a reason as they were. Don't change them. Right? With anything, with any character. It doesn't have to be Star Wars. It could be like the X-Men. It could be Batman. It could be,
Yeah, exactly.
Can you imagine Batman changing his costume to something brighter, so that he could fight during the daylight? I don't know. It's just like, stop. Like, leave it alone.
He's no longer Batman. He's Bat-They.
He's Sunman. I don't know. He's, I don't know, Birdman. I have no idea. But it's just like Pigeon Man. But just leave it alone. Create your own characters if you want something different. Create something original. Well, that's what
I'm because then you accept it or you don't, and you move on.
Yeah, there's no like, wait, that's not my Batman. That's not my Superman. That's not my Luke Skywalker.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Why did they change them?
Yeah.
Or that's not my Wonder Woman.
I would be so much more open to so much of things that they do if they just hadn't jacked up Luke Skywalker. That's just my problem. That's my centralized problem.
The thing, though, but that's
you're not the only one.
You're not the only one. You're not the only one. I think
he got done dirty. There's no question about it.
Yes, I think if they want to make more money, because that's what all it is, right? Bottom line, what's the bottom line? Making more money, right? Fix it. Close that chapter and then move on and make good original Star Wars shows.
No, that's not to say I don't want Luke Skywalker I don't want Luke Skywalker to be a static character. I want him to continue to grow and evolve as a character, but just not in the way that betrays the original intentions of what the character was.
Like with the lightsaber when he threw it.
Yeah,
you're just like, oh man.
And the fact that the actor who played him, Mark Hamill's like, I totally and fundamentally disagree with what you're doing with this character, and you're going to piss off the fans, and
they didn't care.
And the famous reaction from Rian Johnson was, I want to piss off the fans. Like, oh, you don't, dude.
Yeah, he was trying to, but anyway, long story short, more room for improvement for Disney Star Wars.
Definitely. Right now, it's at like a C+ for me.
Okay.
It's at a C+. But a few years ago, it was at a F. So, I mean,
Yeah, I mean, there's,
I thought after Mandalorian season 2, I thought, man, we've turned the corner. We've turned the corner.
I know.
And Star Wars is back, and we're going to, and oh my God, they're going to do all this cool stuff. We're going to get like a Luke Grogu show. It's going to be freaking awesome. And no. So that was.
Yeah, and it's like they need to bring him back so that they could, I don't know. It was just selfish and, not organic. But, in the bright side, though, I think there's a lot of potential. I think with some of the, like you said, like the collectibles that's being released, Dark Empire stuff, some like legendary characters like Darth Revan, Star Killer, some of those things.
Again, they're hitting all the sweet spots, man.
They're really hitting the sweet spots. So
if Disney Star Wars was as good as what Hot Toys was putting out, oh my God, we'd be in heaven, I think.
And the thing too is that, like, I think if you guys, I'm going to share it on the Facebook group. Like, I think the Howard Chant came on. He's a big Star Wars fan. He was doing that interview. I don't know if you guys saw it, where he was like, yeah, we've been trying to make this Dark Empire character, Luke, for a long time, for 6-7 years. And they were getting shut down by Disney. And he was like referencing like all the books and like the covers, and that's what they were inspired with. So Howard Chant, is a big, huge Star Wars fan, the CEO of Hot Toys. So if they turned the corner and this became so successful, right? maybe Disney could say, wait a minute, wow, okay, that's awesome. We really need to look into this because it's making us money.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, I've said, I've been my own personal feelings on it is I've always I will always vote for with my dollar. I don't boycott Star Wars for things I try to show them what I like by buying the things I like and not buying the things I don't. And unfortunately, it hasn't worked out the way I wanted it to since for a while. But I keep hoping. Like I buy every single Luke Skywalker figure they ever come out with just to make a point. Like I know that my individual purchases are nothing in the whole grand scheme of things, but like every single Luke Skywalker figure that comes out, whether it's in Hot Toys, whether it's in Black Series, whether it's in 3.75 inch, whether it's in retro, every single one I make a point to buy. As long as it's not a sequel Luke Skywalker.
Oh no!
Right.
Every single one. That when you do one of the Last Jedi Luke where you just throw it like you take it
I did buy the crate Luke Skywalker from Last Jedi, but I bought it because I liked the look of it, not because I liked what they did with the character, but I just that's how I would imagine like an older statesman grandmaster Luke Skywalker. I bought it, but I bought it from some fucker off eBay, man. I didn't give Disney a dime for it, so
I like it.
Yeah.
I hope. I'm sure you got a good deal out of it, right?
Yeah, I did all right. Yeah, it wasn't too bad.
Okay, so but anyways, guys, I think it's time to wrap it up. And honestly, it was a pleasure having you guys on the show, man. This was a lot of fun. I mean, this 2 hours went by pretty damn quick.
Oh, it went by real fast.
Real fast. And I just want to say thank you to Nick Knack. It's been a pleasure, man. We got to have you back on the show. Hopefully, you enjoyed. This episode with us. Same with Scott. Always a pleasure to have you on the show. Sean couldn't make it today, guys, because he had some family business. He'll be back on next week. Speaking of next week, not Wednesday night. We're tinkering between Tuesday or Thursday because I actually have some family stuff going on Wednesday. So obviously, please subscribe, hit the notification bell so you'll know when we'll go live. I put the link to everyone's channel, Spice Runners Lounge, Nick Knack's Plastic Planet, and Rogue 16. Seriously, guys, they do amazing work. I enjoy every bit of their content. And please check out Spice Runners Lounge every Friday night, 9 p.m. Eastern time, and Nick Knack's Plastic Planet. Subscribe to one of the most underrated.
Coming, so yeah.
Yes, please subscribe to one of the most underrated toy channels out there.
Thanks, PJ.
I crack myself up every single time I watch his videos, man. And I honestly wish I had his personality because he's so outspoken. Whenever I do videos, I'm like, okay, So yeah, please check him out. And thank you guys for watching. And may the midichlorians be with you guys always and forever. Take care, everyone. See you.